All right, good morning everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, talking about the different course offerings that Stockscores has. I'm going to give you a little tour of Stockscores and show you a little bit about what those courses entail. So I'll talk in this webinar about my background in teaching, the importance of getting educated if you have aspirations of trading the stock market full-time or investing in the stock market very much part-time, managing your retirement portfolio, that sort of thing. I'll show you the tools that I use and the tools that I make available to my students. We'll give you a little tour of the Stockscores Education Center, and then I'll talk about the different course offerings. Finally, I'll just talk about some of the reasons why I think getting educated is important. We'll review that again. All right, so my background in teaching, I started teaching people how to trade 20 years ago. I've been trading for 30 years. And I teach a wide variety of people. Most of my students are retail investors. Some of my students are, people that want to be full-time day traders. So I teach both. I've taught brokerage accounts. So for example, I spent a few years as a, sort of dedicated teacher for a large broker in Canada and toured around throughout the country teaching their clients. I've also been hired by brokerages to teach their staff, so the brokers themselves, where you had a full service broker that was getting my training, I would go into a brokerage office and teach them for the day or sometimes a weekend. And I've taught some institutional traders as well. Some large hedge funds have hired me to teach their staff as well. So I've got a wide variety, but these days, most of the people I teach are, probably much like the people watching today, people who are sitting in their home, managing their retirement portfolios, or trying to make a career out of trading the stock market full time. All right, so why should you get educated? I took 8 years to learn how to trade, and I will tell you that it's way cheaper to have someone teach me or teach you. When I started trading, there really wasn't educators yet. Trading was a pretty new thing because the internet was pretty new. Remember this, I started trading 30 years ago. There was very few books even. There was a few books on how to trade the futures market, but not a lot on how to trade the stock market. And so I had to pretty much teach myself, and that ended up taking me, like I say, 8 years before I was really successful. The market will teach you what you need to know, but it's really expensive and it takes a long time. I have a saying that the market is cruel. It gives the test first and the lesson afterward. And it's important to learn first, take the lesson first, and then your test is ultimately what you do in the actual market. I think that confidence and your emotional state is a huge part of trading success. And when people are teaching themselves or trying to figure it out on their own, they don't necessarily have a lot of confidence in what they're doing because they haven't determined whether what they are doing is proven to succeed. And I think the support that I can provide my students through the learning process really helps success happen. So what do you need for success? You need to know what to look for. And I have developed strategies over the last 30 years for longer term investing, for medium term swing trading, and for very short term day trading. And my strategies are based on what I actually do in the market. They're based on huge amounts of data that I've collected, in particular on my day trading strategy. I showed that in the day trading webinar that I did on Thursday. There's a lot of data that goes into developing my rules, and literally hundreds and hundreds of hours go into each strategy, probably more. And I've been doing this for 30 years, so I've probably got 20 to 30,000 hours of trading experience that I can pass on to my students. And all of that is inside the Stockscores Education Center, which I will show you in a moment. You also need good tools. I didn't want to do what everyone else was doing. I wanted to use my own approach, and my own approach is based on some very good theory, which again we talked about in the webinars on Tuesday and Thursday, and those are posted on the Stockscores YouTube channel. So if you want to see those, if you've missed them, just go to YouTube, do a search for Stockscores, and you will find those other webinars where I go into a little bit about the theory behind what I do. Essentially, it's trading stocks that are behaving abnormally, and there's a theory, a good theory behind that. In fact, there's been some Nobel Prizes won in economics on a lot of the things that I do. not won by me, of course, but by people who use similar approaches to the market. So I developed the market scan for investors, and for day traders and swing traders, I developed something called Active Live, which I'll show you in a moment. And I have developed indicators for a software program called TradeStation. TradeStation is not owned by me. It's an independent company, but it's one that I use. I've been using for 15 or 20 years. I think it's also important to have support. And so as you go through your learning process, I provide individualized support to my students. I don't teach a lot of people. I teach maybe 100 people a year, probably less. And by having a small number of students, I can help each one myself as they go on their journey toward success in the market. What you need to bring is you have to have money to invest in the market, obviously, and you need to have discipline, you need to work, and you need to be willing to listen and maybe do things that sometimes won't make a lot of sense, because human beings are destined to fail in the stock market if they approach the market in a normal way. And I do things a little differently than what is normal, and I think that's why it works. And so you have to be open to that sort of thing. So capital, discipline, and work are the things that you have to bring. All right, let's talk about the Stockscores Education Center. It's an online resource that has videos, written documents, assignments, tests, strategies. I used to teach my classes in a classroom, typically at a university or on a Saturday and a Sunday. And it was great, you know, that live teaching was great. But the problem was when my students left the class, they didn't necessarily remember everything that I taught them. Yeah, I gave them books, but I felt like it would be nice to have online resource to go to so that you can watch the same video 5 times on risk management if you need to, so that you can really learn it well. And same with the strategies. I'm always updating my strategies. I'm always looking for ways to make them more profitable, to make them better. And the nice thing about having an online resource is I can go in and I can just change it. And then my students that maybe took my course 3 years ago get that updated content right away. And so there's some real benefits to having everything online. So I'm going to jump to the Stockscores website and we'll just show you how this education center looks. So it's under here, under Trader Training, called Education Center. You have to be one of my students to access most of this. The only thing you don't have to be a student to access is the Getting Started area. So there are a number of videos here for those that want to learn some of the real basic stuff. It's there. But the important areas are the foundation, investor, and active trader areas. Inside the foundation area, we have our theory. So if you want to know how to read chart patterns, then you would read the lesson. Okay, so the lesson's right there. It talks about inflection points and different elements of chart patterns. And then you need to know the, or there's a video that will explain that as well. So I can click on this video icon and it's going to start a little video. Again, you can watch these anywhere that you have an internet connection. As long as you have a browser and an internet connection, this will work. So a lot of people watch this on their cell phones, iPads, or on your home computer. 6 elements of chart patterns. All right, I'll pause that. Nobody needs to listen to all that right now. And we can go back. For the foundation section, we also have assignments and tests, because I think it's important to practice the skills. And so I've developed some assignments that you can do. And then there is also a test, a little quiz that is self-evaluated. It will give you your mark when you go into it, and explain the answers as well. So I'm not going to show you each question because that's something you need to do when you take the course. All right, so that's the Education Center. And the other 2 functional areas are the investor area, where we've got my specific strategies for longer term trading. You can see different strategies there because we have different things that we do based on market conditions. For example, if the market is coming out of a corrective phase, I'm more likely to run the bottom fishing strategy. If I'm looking for ETFs, because I want to be a very passive, longer term investor, well, then there's the Stockscores Simple ETF strategy. So we have different strategies for different approaches. If you have an interest in being a more active trader, there's a number of strategies in the active trader section. We have swing trading strategies. So the simple swing is the primary one. There's 2 versions of that. There's a 13 and a 30. They explain both in there. And then we have the superheroes. And really the most important one is the Stockscores Day Trader strategy. That is the one that I use all day long. It works awesome. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a moment when we get into the active trader section of the presentation. So that's a quick tour of the Education Center. So what is included with my courses? So when you register for the investor course, you get access to those foundation lessons in the Stockscores Education Center. So that's all of the theory. So you get access to all of these modules. You get access to the investor strategies. So that's this section where you have all of the specific rules for when to buy, when to sell, a lesson written, and a video to watch. You get access to the Stockscores Investor Strategy market scans. So let me just show you that. If we go into the market scan tool, the market scan tool is the primary tool that we use to find longer term trades. So swing trades and position trades. And if I go in here, I can select a strategy. So I can choose the Abnormal Breaks Canada strategy, which is one of my favorites for finding position trades, stocks that I'm going to hold a little longer term. And I can run the market scan. And based on Friday's results, it found 6 stocks. So an investor student has access to this. And then I can zoom through the charts looking for the right kind of pattern. And when I see something I like, I can blow it up. I can say, okay, that's promising. It's not quite there yet. This stock needs to break through the 230 level. So I close it down and keep on looking. Now I can do it in this view, which is on a weekly chart. So I can say, okay, Yamana Gold had a run up, pull back, flag break on last week. This is a weekly chart. I may want to look at how it's done over the daily time frame. So I can do that and say, okay, it tried to make a little break on Friday, traded pretty good volume, but still underneath resistance, closed off of its highs. So it's a good setup. It's not a great setup. So I can close it down and continue looking. Now I'm looking at these in these little mini charts, but we also have a larger chart view called Gallery. And I can switch to that, this is Gallery. I can go to Slideshow. I'm just going to click on that Slideshow icon. And now I've got much larger charts so you can see a lot more detail. And to move through the charts, I just click my right or left arrow on my keyboard, and I can zip through these charts really fast. So it's a great tool for researching the entire stock market in a very short amount of time. I can go through the entire market in minutes. All right. So that was that particular scan, but you will see that there are others. If I go back to the market scan tool here, there's all these presets. And so the investor students have access to all of the investor strategies and the foundation and the free. Now that access is included for free for 6 months. And after 6 months, it costs you $300 per year to maintain your access. And that price has been the same for 20 years. I've never changed it. Maybe I'll change it one day, but I haven't done so yet. It's a great deal. Now, the Active Trader course includes the foundation lessons, which I showed you, includes the investor strategies, which I showed you, but it also includes the Active Trader strategy. So if we jump back into the Education Center, go to Trader Training. Sorry, this pull down is getting in the way here. There we go. Go to the Education Center, drop down to Active Trader, and there's all of those lessons. So if I want to look at the day trader strategy, I can do that right there. And there's a video that explains that as well. Again, you get email support from me as you learn and work through the process. I have students that took my course 10 years ago who still ask me questions once in a while, and I'm there for you forever, as long as you need help. You get 6 months access to those tools that I showed you, the market scan tool, but you also get a bundle of indicators for a program called TradeStation. So this is TradeStation here, and you can see that on this chart there's a bunch of lines and dots and prices and that sort of thing. So those are indicators that I've had coded for TradeStation, and I make them available to my students and only my students. So I can pull up XNET, which was one of the stocks that we traded on Friday. It was the best trade of the week, actually. And in this stock, I'll just sort of walk you through the methodology. And many of you watch my weekly videos, so you'll know a little bit about the day trade of the week that I often show. It's a little bit hard to see, but there's some pink dots on this chart. You can see there's one there, and there's one there, and there's one here. It's hidden underneath that word. But that, that dot represents what I call an action candle. It's my own secret sauce that I use to trade the stock market to identify opportunities. And so this stock triggered an action candle on the second candle of the day, the second 2-minute time frame. So at 9:34 Eastern time, it gave me the buy signal that I look for. And it was a stock that was trading with very low volatility the previous day. This is a 2-minute chart, by the way. That's what it says up there. And it triggered my action candle. I have an algorithm that runs that finds these things. I'll show you that in just a moment. And so that was the buy point. And it said if you had $100 of risk, if your risk tolerance was $100, then your position size is 900 shares. That's what that 900 there means. And that stock marched steadily higher through the day. It went from $2.77 at the entry signal to close at right around $4.85. So it's a huge move on this stock. For every $100 risked, this trade made about $1,900. Like I said, it was the best trade of the week, came up on Friday, and I'll talk a little bit more about this and the economics of it in this week's Market Minutes video, which will be up later this weekend. All right, so that's TradeStation, and that's some of my indicators. I give those indicators to my students. You also are eligible for something called Active Live. So Active Live is a service that I offer where you can watch the same screen that I use for identifying trading opportunities. And so as I sit here at my desk, that screen is just to my left, and I'll show you how that looks in just a moment. But it's entirely automated, runs the algorithms that I've written for TradeStation, and you're just watching the screen from your home or office, and it's happening in real time. It's live. I make some comments in the first 20 minutes of the day, half an hour of the day, comments later in the day. Sometimes I come on in the middle of the day just to give you a little bit of an update if something important has happened. But essentially, you've got this automated computerized system using a very powerful computer on my desk here that gives you these instant trade signals. So instead of having to go out and spend $5,000 on a really high-end computer, you can just watch the webinar. You can watch what I've coded into TradeStation. I've got the strategies hard-coded into TradeStation to identify the trade signals. So I'm doing the work for you, and so that you can really focus on making trades. Now, this service is only available to Stockscores active members, active trader members, and that's one other thing that comes with the active course. And so I'll just show you how this looks. So this is the screen that you see, and in the middle part of the screen you have the buy signals. In the right part of the screen, that box is the short sell signals, and then on the left box is our swing trade signals. And then the chart down in the bottom left, that is the S&P 500 chart, which we use to determine whether we should be going long or short or doing nothing. And so there's a lot of lessons that come with the course material and how to use this. I just wanted to give you a little look at it to get a sense of how it all works together. All right, now there's one other thing that I'm offering starting November, it says there November 20th, it's not November 20th, it starts November 12th, and that is a mentorship program. So it's, I would say, more important for the person who wants to be a day trader, because day trading has a little bit more complexity to it. And so I provide 12 weekly online meetings to teach you my approach. I walk you through the strategies, the processes, the importance of preserving your capital, emotional control. It's really a hand holding through the educational material. And I think everyone that's ever taken my mentorship program says it's just an easier way to learn it, because you've got me pushing you each week to do that. So that starts November 12th. We take a little break over the Christmas holidays, and then we resume in January. And each participant gets 3 months of a total of 3 months of my Active Live course, or my Active Live service. So when you do the Active Trader course, you get 1 month of Active Live, and when you do the mentorship, you get another 2. So you're going to get a total of 3 months. The mentorship is limited to 15 students, and that, again, that all starts November 12th. We'll talk about pricing and how you sign up for these things in just a moment. So the live training that I'm going to do will start November 5th. So I don't do this often. I do this twice a year. I take the online stuff that's in the Stockscores Education Center and I add to it some live training. And so the first session will happen Tuesday, November 5th at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And that will be a theory session. We'll do an hour and a half of theory, and then we're going to do another hour and a half of theory on Thursday, November 7th. And those are all recorded. And so you can watch the video as often as you want, or if you missed it, you can watch the video later. But it's good to come to it live because you can ask questions as I go through the material. And it's just me teaching you like how to read chart patterns, how to do risk management, how to develop your own strategy. These are some of the theory things that we're going to talk about. Now, I also want to show you how to actually apply the strategies. And so for the investor group, we do that for 3 nights at 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific time again. I will take you through the market scanning process, and we'll do market scans and actually try to find some stocks to buy. And so we do that for an hour each evening for those 3 nights, Monday, Thursday, and Friday of that week. And then for those that want to be an active trader, again, I want to show you how to do it. And so I give you a free month with the Active Trader course for Active Trader Live. That's the live webinar where you see my screen, you hear my commentary, that sort of thing. So if you are an investor student, you get the investor strategy practice. You get this, and you get the overview class. If you are an active trader student, you get the overview class, the investor strategy practice, and the Active Trader Live service for 1 month. If you do mentorship, you get another 2 months, so you get a total of 3 months if you are a mentorship student. So all of that stuff is free for you if you register for either course before October 31st at 11 p.m. So that's Halloween. And so I'm using that as my cutoff. Basically, the end of the month is the cutoff, and anyone who registers prior to that time and date will get that free overview classes. We'll get the investor market scanning classes, and the active trader students will also get that free month of Active Live. So pricing, again, pricing is all in Canadian dollars. Prices haven't changed in 10 years. There's people that don't teach half of what I teach, and their prices are probably double this if you look at the whole process that they take you through. So my pricing is low cost. I really want to help people do better in the market. I would say teaching is almost a hobby for me. It gives me some joy when I hear that people are successful with what I've taught them. And so I keep the pricing pretty reasonable. Investor course, $2,495. Active Trader, $3,495. I want to stress that that includes the investor course. You get that as well. The mentorship is $54.95. It includes the active. It includes the investor. Now, if you've already taken the active course and you want to upgrade to the invest or to the mentorship, that's $2,000. If you've taken the investor course and you want to upgrade to the active course, that's $1,250. Let me show you how you upgrade. So we'll go back into Stockscores, go into the Education Center. If you took the investor course and you want to upgrade to the active course, when you log into the website and you go to the Education Center, what it'll show here is that it shows the upgrade price. It'll show $1,250. Now for me, it's showing purchased. And then all you have to do is just expand that area, and there will be a link up at the top here where you can upgrade from investor to active trader. Now, if you would like to move from active trader to mentorship, then you go into the upcoming events page and you go down to mentorship right here and register online. It'll charge you the $2,000. It'll take you through a process to make that upgrade. Now, let's say you have not done anything. You want to do the active trader course. You want to do the mentorship. The first thing you have to do is go to the trader training section. I'm actually going to log out here just so you can see this. So let me just log out. Whoops. Having a little trouble. There we go. So I'm going to log out. I'm going to go to Trader Training, learn how to trade. And on this page, you can register for the course. So Active Trader course, here's everything that's included. It's all listed there for you. There's a video that explains the Active Trader course. If you wanted to do the investor, it's all explained here what it is. There's a video that entails what's in the course. And you can just order it online. So you just click on Order Active Trader. You have to log in at that point. and then it'll walk you through a process to register. Now, if you don't have a Stockscores account set up yet, you're going to sign up here with one, and you're just going to put in some basic information and go from there. All right, so it's all online. If you have any trouble with that, please email me. And so let's, getting back to what I was saying, is if you want to do the mentorship course, the first thing you have to do is register for the Active Trader course. Once you've registered for the Active Trader course, then you can do that mentorship upgrade by going to Trader Training, upcoming events, cycle down the page to the Active Trader mentorship area there and just go register online, and it'll ask you to log in, and then you can sign up. All right. So I've got one more special offer, which I talked about a little bit at the end of Tuesday and Thursday's webinar, but I'm launching a new service in November, and I haven't got a name for it yet, but essentially it's a do-it-all-for-you investor service. Once a week, you're going to get access to a video where I run the market scans, I pick the stocks, I review past trades, I talk about the market direction, whether I see a correction coming or not. That'll probably be a 15, 20-minute video each week exclusively for this new product. And if you would like that for free for a couple of months, then register for the Active Trader course or the Investor course. And I've had a number of my old students ask me about this. I will have something for you as well. I just haven't figured it out yet. But if you're one of my past students, maybe you took my course 3 years ago, I'd like you to try this as well. So I'll hook you up with something. I just don't know how it's going to work yet. So anyone that registers for either course, Active or Investor, before October 31st, will get this new service for free for 2 months. I don't know pricing, what it's going to be after that yet. I'll tell you all, it'll be fair. I want to really help people manage their longer term portfolio. And that's what this service is all about. You know, giving you maybe a couple stock picks a week. Some weeks it'll be none. Some weeks it might be 4 or 5. In a year, there should be, enough new stock picks to really build that retirement portfolio. And we're going to track it. I'm going to review past trades so that you always sort of basically have me as your sort of advisor on how to build your portfolio. So that's coming up in November. All right, I'm going to launch a quick poll in case any of you would like a little bit of a follow-up email from me next week. Just answer this and I will put you on my list to get an email, and let me know which course you're primarily interested in. And I don't bug people. I don't like to send them a bunch of spam. And so you don't have to worry too much. I'll send you 1 or 2 emails next week with just a little bit of follow-up information about the courses and how to register for them and that sort of thing. So I'll leave this up for another 20 or 30 seconds. Just click on the box that interests you. If you have multiple, if you're interested in all the courses, put that in there as well. But just leave this up for another 30 seconds. Not 30. Hell, let's go 15 seconds. So throw your answers in there. And then we'll go on to the next slide. If you have any questions, now's a good time to put them in. Someone asking me, how do you pay for a course? And whether you can do credit card or email transfer. Credit card's easiest. If you really want to do email transfer, we can. I've done that for a couple of people. Credit card's simple. I'm not really set up on the website to do email transfer, so you have to email me and we can do that. So it's a possibility. Someone else asking me, can your indicator code work in Thinkorswim? No, it does not. It only works in TradeStation. All right, we'll close this poll down now. Another question. We'll talk about, maybe Hassan, maybe you can email me that and I'll give you some information about that. All right. So why would you take this course? I will tell you that the mistakes you make in the market, that I've made in the market, cost me and will cost you far more than the cost of my course. It'll also cost you a lot of time. I took 8 years to learn this. I can teach you how to invest in the stock market, depending on how hard you work, in a month or 2. Day trade, maybe a little longer. It's just, you got to put some time in. There's probably about 15 hours of lessons and videos to go through. And, if you do that an hour a day, it's going to take you 2 weeks. If you do that a little slower, it's going to take you a little longer. And then there's some practice. And as you're practicing, I'm there to help you. I don't teach a lot of people, So you're really getting a personalized education from me. I've got 20 years of doing this. I've been teaching for 20 years, trading for 30 years. And so I really know how to get people up to speed. I hope that you find my webinars fairly easy to understand, and that's my teaching style. I like to keep it fairly easy to understand. I love trading because it gives me freedom. I can work anywhere, I can live anywhere. Some of you may know that I took a year off of normal life 3 years ago, and I went and lived in Maui for 6 months, and then I went to Whistler for 6 months, and I couldn't do that if I had a normal job. And so technology as it is today, you can trade from anywhere. You know, you pack along a laptop and maybe an extra screen plugged into the laptop and you're good to go. My goal is to make trading easy and prosperous for you. And so I've developed my educational material so that it's accessible to just about anyone. You don't have to be a finance expert. You don't have to know anything about the stock market. I start at the basics and I work my way up to where you need to be. For the person who aspires to be a day trader, the Active Live service is just such a tremendous way to do that because it utilizes some really cool and powerful things that I've programmed into TradeStation that are only available in Active Live. And that upcoming investor service, let's call it Investor Live, maybe that's a good name, Investor Live video service is going to make the investing side simple. I'm going to do it for you, but you have to be my student first. You have to understand my approach. You have to understand my risk management and the importance of capital preservation. And once you understand those things, then you're ready for that investor service. All right, so any other questions? You can throw those in there now. That's about all I wanted to cover this morning. Today's webinar is quite a bit shorter than normal because we're not going into a lot of the theory of what I do, just a little bit of an overview of the courses. If you want to register for the course, there's the address. You go www.stockscores.com. And again, sorry, this is incorrect. This is supposed to be October 31st. Last year it was November 8th. That's why I've got that on there. So October 31st is the deadline, 11 p.m. And please, if you have any questions before then about what the course includes or anything that you're not understanding from this video, please email me. There's my email address, tylerb@stockscores.com. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on YouTube. Go to YouTube and subscribe to the Stockscores YouTube channel. I put up one video at least every week. That's called the Market Minutes video. It's my analysis of the markets, and I think a real useful thing to learn from. And that's all on there. All right, so another question. I'm mostly interested in trading and not investing. Any chance you can offer the active course without the investor part for a lower price? Sorry, I don't. And the reason why is the active course has some extra features that are quite valuable. They have my TradeStation code, which cost me over $10,000 in programming over the years to do. And so when you spend, $3,500 on this course, you're getting that code, which cost me $10,000. So to me, it's a pretty good deal, not to mention the thousands of hours of experience that goes into it, the hundreds of hours that I put into developing each strategy. It really is a good value. Next question, does the Active Live service require TradeStation? It is not required. No, TradeStation is a great tool. I use it. But now that I offer Active Live, I would say you can do that, and it's a lot easier. If you are into software and you like that sort of control, then I would use TradeStation. But if you really just want to have me do the work for you and have my computer do the work for you, just do Active Live. Active Live, by the way, is $195 a month. Once you are an active trader student, you can pay for that in a single day with the opportunities it generates. But and you get a free month at least with the active course and the investor, or with the active course and with the mentorship, you get 3 months. Does the investor course include short selling? Yes, although what I tend to do more so is buy inverse ETFs when the market's going down. But if you are wanting to short sell stocks, I can teach you that as well. Now, another question. I'm an old student, but never got going, dropped the ball. How can I restart? Best thing to do is send me an email and I'll take a look at your account. We'll see how we can get you up and going again. You never lose access. So like if you took the course 10 years ago, you have access to all that online education material, even though back then that wasn't actually available to you. It was only the live class that I taught in a classroom. So Good. Can I get better with TradeStation? Oh, can I get a better price with TradeStation if I take your course? Yes. TradeStation offers my students a $100 a month discount. And so you just have to contact me once you are an active trader student, and I hook you up with a particular rep with TradeStation to get them going on that at a discount. All right, I'm not seeing any more questions coming in, so I'm going to wrap it up there. If you have any questions that you wanted to ask, please email me, tylerb@stockscores.com. I want to thank you all for joining me on a Saturday morning. Hopefully it was worth your time, and I hope to see lots of you registered for the course in the next little while. The sooner you register, the more time you have to study ahead of the actual live training that we're going to start on November 5th. So thanks again, everyone. This will be up as a video on YouTube soon. I did record it, so if you want to review this presentation again, it will be on YouTube hopefully later today. Have a great rest of the weekend and trade well.